Folks, the DNC, the Democratic establishment, all of it is starting to crumble apart because when confronted, they break apart. And the thing is, I have my next guest, good friend of the show, who has ran for office, an entrepreneur, an activist, an organizer, and someone who has been unapologetic. Give it up for returning guest to our show, Jamal Green. Jamal, you have been in the headlines recently, so I know a lot of people have been asking you this question already. So let's get this thing right off the bat.
Yeah.
Why are you so mean? I actually got to call you. Why are you so mean to first name Roland, last name Martin? What happened? Because the look on this man's face here was absolute pure gold. And for those of you who don't know, I just got to pull this up here, man. Pull it up. this was glorious because I want to talk about the beginning of it. Because first you have the shocked face of when finally someone who you've been talking about, oh my goodness, is confronted.
I gave you enough pictures. Yesterday, you tweeted
about So what happened? Why are you being mean to Roland? Why are you being so mean? What happened?
Let me say, first of all, what the Democratic Party is, they have these Democrat shields like Roland Martin. And in a black community, we have these black shields who come in our community to try to tell us that we don't deserve anything and we need to just vote Democrat. Roland Martin is one of those people. Now, the reality is that Roland, for that week, spent time attacking me in an unprovoked way. I never reached out or, went in on Roland in any way. He just decided to attack me that week because I was somebody who was saying that we deserve an agenda from both sides, that I was being critical about, the policy that Kamala moved forward. Roland didn't like that. So Roland took to his show and called me a fool and stupid on his national show. And he tweeted about me several times as well, calling me an idiot and clueless and things of that sort. And I tweeted at Roland. I said, well, we could talk about this in person since you're going to be in Chicago. And when I approached him, he put a lady in front of him and started yelling security. Then they started grabbing me. And that's what escalated the situation. But, the reality of the situation is we cannot keep allowing folks like Roland Martin to keep telling us, that the grass is blue. And we just have to just keep listening to it and not question or challenge what's going on, and say, hey, we need an agenda. We can't speak up for ourselves independently without folks like Roland just attacking us. Listen, when we get rid of independent voices, kid, then we will be nothing in this country. There should never be a situation where we just sit by and listen to both parties and we just pick a party and we're not critical at all, because the independent voices are the ones who are closest to the truth. When you have folks on the Democrat and Republican side, they're going to defend Republicans or defend Democrats, defend their party in their honor because they want to win. When you have people that are independent, that does not care about either side, actually be critical, those are the people that are closest to the truth. And we have to protect those voices. And folks like Roland Martin can't just be attacking and trying to discredit people who are speaking the absolute truth. And that's what happened with that situation. And I'm sure his language ain't gonna be greasy going forward.
Well, it is rather hilarious to me seeing a keyboard warrior confronted, and that's what most of these Democratic shills are, because we have seen since throughout this entire convention, so many people saying there's joy. I didn't see any joy. What I saw was a bunch of sycophants going to bat for somebody who has yet to deliver any policies. And the thing is, your criticism has been fair. I have criticized Kamala Harris, and Jamal, just for giggles, I mean, because I definitely want to focus a little bit more, because you have been reaching a lot of voices. You've been on a lot of platforms speaking your truths about the hypocrisy of the Democratic Party. Before then, hey, let's play a game. Did Kamala update her campaign website for policy? Let's play this game. Close? No, but maybe she updated her store. Maybe she did.
She definitely updated the store.
Yes, she can.
Yes, she can. Wow.
When we fight, we win.
Yeah.
This is it. All it is a place in which you could buy merch, which is
and it's utterly disgusting, guys. And I mean, the reality is that we should not be in a situation where we are sitting back and just allowing anyone from either side not tell us what they're going to do. Now, I come, as many people know, I was a surrogate for Bernie Sanders and traveled the country with him. Now, Bernie Sanders stood on policies before, my disagreements with him with Joe Biden and on after the campaigns, but that's a different story. But when Bernie was running, he stood on policy. And when he stood on policy, it wasn't because he was just this good-looking old white man or something, because no one cared about what he looked like and how old he was. It was the policies that represented him. And that is how politics should be, is what is your policy plan that you can stand on? When Bernie was going after Big Pharma and said, I'm going to allow medicines to be imported from Canada. When Bernie was saying Medicare for all, when he was saying Green New Deal, when he was saying $15 minimum wage, how come Kamala Harris, at those times, she's tried to adopt Bernie policies 4 years ago. And now today, you have no stance on Medicare for all, no stance on Green New Deal, no stance on $15 minimum wage, no stance on any policy that we could debate you on. And I think it's utterly disgusting. It's a slap in the face, knowing that we've been through several years of Joe Biden and they have not made good on any of those progressive policies that they talked about. He did a few dollars of student loan debt instead of all of it. He didn't even move forward $15 minimum wage and none of the bills, didn't even try to fight for it because he claimed that it was just going to die, so he didn't want to fight for it. I mean, we are sitting here waiting on Kamala to tell us what she's going to stand on as president. And the fact that it is now, not even a little over a couple months away, and we still haven't received any policies from her, and she's been in a race over a month now, I think it's utterly disgusting that she's expecting us to vote for her because of symbolism.
Well, we did see a lot of symbolism. And the thing is, what I find utterly disgusting is the censorship and how people have been attacked. And you have been attacked on social media, more importantly, because you're demanding, hey, what kind of agenda do you have for the Black community? Because Joe Biden said that he was, we saw Joe Biden and Democrats in 2020 pander to Black voters. And yet, what have we seen here in Chicago? A growing detachment, especially in the Black communities on the south and west side of Chicago, utter anger and disdain for the Democratic machine. And yet we have seen them still say, well, what else do you have? Well, I mean, there are other options. So I just want to get your commentary on just why there is this absolute backlash, especially by these Democrat sycophants coming after people who are just demanding more, because it is reasonable for, again, voters to ask for their politicians, hey, what are you going to do for us?
That's what we're supposed to be doing. I mean, what is politics about if we voting for somebody because they look a certain way? That's not what politics is about. What is politics about if we voting for somebody because of a gender or because of a color? I mean, it makes no sense. Politics is not about that. Politics is about who's going to represent our interests, who is going to move forward policy. Politics is supposed to be a transaction. I'm giving you my vote because you're going to change my life in some way. And the simple fact that we are sitting here today and politics is being ran like whoever speaks the best, whoever looks the best, whoever is a woman. We're the fact that the Democratic Party is playing us. They're playing us because they take us for granted, kid. They're playing us because they look at us and say, well, you ain't got no other options. Well, what you gonna do? Vote for Trump? See, they play us in our face because they know that 9 times out of 10, folks are still going to vote Democrat. They're voters. So they think they can play us. It is going to be up to us to stop playing with them and say that we will withhold our vote. We will vote for another party. We will create our own party. We will galvanize and fight you guys if you guys don't adopt policies for us. That's what the Palestinians did during the DNC. Palestinian community stood outside and said that we're uncommitted. And then they started a Beyonce rumor and had everybody waiting on Beyonce. You see how they slap us in the face, kid?
Yeah.
They, instead of talking about policy, y'all talk about Beyonce. Y'all trying to play us and use celebrities for symbolism. Not, oh, hey, y'all, we got this amazing policy we're going to release that's going to excite y'all. Not, hey, we coming out to say that we're going to go further and get rid of all of student loan debt. Not come out and say anything that's going to actually motivate people. So instead, let's try to get Beyonce. Let's try to start a rumor about Beyonce and Taylor Swift. Stop playing us in our face. We need policy, not no more booty shaking and celebrities.
Well, you know, we were there covering the DNC convention, and you know, I've never seen such a false narrative being presented before people, where you have these giant walls that make even Trump blush with envy. And then at the same time too, you hear this talk of joy. You talk about this talk of unity, when on the first day it could be argued that there were more people protesting outside the DNC convention than were in the DNC convention. Now again, it was only for 4 days, but yet your voice and many others, Hardlands Media, all of us, we have been, you know, ostracized and criticized for this idea of asking for more. And now when it comes down to this recent endorsement that RFK Jr. gave to Donald Trump, Democrats are now once again doing a knee-jerk reaction saying, oh, well, this is all a trick to help Trump. You know, you have ran for office twice for the office of Chicago mayor. Once. Thanks for the clarification. And you've seen
last time I dropped out before the ballot, so I was in very shortly, but once full through, yes.
And the thing is, you have seen how the Democratic machine works.
Yes,
I mean, for my viewers and subscribers, can you once again give us an education of just how corrupt this system truly is?
Well, the Democratic machine in Illinois and Chicago is one of the worst that you will ever see. In the city of Chicago, to run for mayor, you got to have 12,500 signatures. It means that you got to have 3 times the amount of signatures, because they're going to all come and challenge you so that you can't run for office. It's a rich people's game. And that's why I understand RFK. I understand the millions of dollars he spent to fight to keep his name on a ballot in 50 states. I had to spend a lot of money just to keep my name on a ballot in 1 city, because the Democrats, if you are not a part of their machine, they come after you. They came after me because I was not shucking and jiving and mopping their floors. And, you know, the reality is they force you to spend money and force you to utilize all your political capital to a point where you don't have a chance against their money, because they'll control, you know, the infrastructure and the media. And so I think it is utterly disgusting at how Democrats play things. And kid, let's go back to the DNC. I think it's funny that, you know, the Democrats love to talk about billionaires. Bernie Sanders got up there.
Oh, no.
And he gets up there and he talks about we shouldn't be allowing billionaires to buy elections. And then not even 5 minutes later, J.B. Pritzker walks on stage and brags about being a billionaire who bought his election. I mean, the hypocrisy at the DNC was just utterly disgusting. How do you put J.B. Pritzker after Bernie Sanders? I mean, that doesn't even make sense. You know, I mean, it's utterly crazy to me how they play us in our faces. And, you know, they just use us for what they want to use us for, but they don't give us anything or stand on anything. We just got to do better. And that's why the Democratic Party needs a full gut makeover, and of policy, of leaders. I mean, it needs a full gut makeover, because it is turned to shreds.
Wouldn't you? So I got to push back on this. Wouldn't you think that's maybe time for us to fully break away from the Democrats? Because what I saw at the DNC convention was utter disdain for not only Palestinian voices, but for all voices. We both live in Chicago. We both have seen the Democratic machine work.
Yep.
I mean, isn't it time just now? All right, break away, doing citizen ballot initiatives. I mean, could you just elaborate about some of the programs that you're doing on the south side of Chicago? Because those programs are at least doing more for the people than I've seen Mayor Rahm Emanuel's administration do,
for sure.
Lightfoot, and even our good friend Mayor Brandon Johnson, who managed to get all sorts of new police gear and equipment and surveillance
New helicopters.
that I'm willing to bet are going to be used in the south and west side neighborhoods of Chicago.
Yeah.
So can you elaborate a little bit on some of the programs that you're doing? Because the thing is,
them,
the Democrats would never adopt those.
No. Of course not. But them new helicopters definitely going to be rolling around Chicago. But I mean, I think that, well, first, let me tell you this. I've already broke away from the Democratic Party years ago. I'm an independent. So if you have not, I don't believe that our voices who have been shut out the most, should be tied to the Democratic Party, which is why I'm not a part of it. And they've done us so wrong, especially when I watch what they did to Bernie firsthand, because I was there. I watch what they did to me here in my city. I just know how they play things and how dirty they play. And that's why I've always been independent and not a party guy. I think that we need more folks to be independent, to show them that, hey, you got to fight for our vote. We're not just about to give you our vote just because, you put somebody up there that looks like me. You got to stop playing us in our faces like that. Each and every day, I spend my time making sure that folks can become homeowners. Just today, we have over 8 people, under contract today alone that never was going to be able to own a home. It's going to be able to own a home in 30 days. We are changing lives by empowering people to rebuild their communities. We're developing, all throughout the neighborhoods. We are making sure that we're creating homeowners, new business owners, revitalizing our own community, because we know that the politicians and the banks don't care about us. We know that it's going to take us to rebuild our communities, and that's what we're doing each and every day. Democratic Party don't care about our communities. They don't come in them. They don't
only except when it's time to vote.
Only during campaign season. People don't see politicians. People don't see these people doing anything in their communities. Hell, they got potholes in our communities that have been lasted longer than the last 4 mayors. So when you want to talk about coming in our communities, damn, can we at least get a team after all these years to come fill a damn pothole? That's how they care about us. They don't. It's buildings and lots in our communities that's been sitting there for at least 15, 20 years. Yeah. We got the school buildings that were sitting in our communities that Ram shut down over 10 years ago, and still laying vacant, the ones that they couldn't redo for the migrants.
Right.
I mean, so they show you how they care about you by how your community looks. And it's just utterly unfortunate.
So I think as something else too, when we have constantly been calling out the Democrats and at least demanding more, we're seeing now that they want to put on this persona of this joyful experience for Kamala, and that Kamala somehow, I guess, being a woman of color, that we have to just shut up and fall in line. But there's always a danger of following orders. I've recently played on my show earlier this morning of one Democrat delegate just saying, hey, look, I'm disillusioned. I saw rich people. I saw a party talking about funding more wars. I saw a party that didn't care about the voices on the outside. And it takes a while for a person to become deprogrammed, because let's face it, our institutions, our media have done a successful job in brainwashing a majority of the U.S. population. It's not only here in Chicago, but majority of U.S. population into believing in Team Red and Team Blue. You were also a delegate for Bernie Sanders. I was a Bernie Sanders supporter. I believed in it. And I think we both had our, I guess, coming to Jesus moment where it's like, okay, we got to break away from the Democrats because it's abundantly clear that they're not going to do anything. What is your method in at least trying to reach out to people who are maybe finally now waking up, because it's easy for us to kind of point and laugh and say, oh, ha ha, first time. But I don't think that's going to work. I think it's more of just embracing people in, because it's like finally you dunked your head in some cool water and now you're seeing things for what they are. How do we really engage with that group of people that are going to be frightened and scared, or either that politically homeless?
Yeah, well, I think that we have to bring people in the fold to have these conversations, right? And I think that's number one. And then we got to talk about what's that pathway forward. Some people believe in going to force both candidates to adopt an agenda and see if it happens. Some people believe in going third party. Some people believe in creating their own party. I think that there are options. I think it's going to take for us to start these conversations because I do think that more people each and every election time are tired of the two-party system. And I think they're more tired today than they've ever been. So imagine what it'll be in 4 years and 8 years. So I think that the organizing and the time and what we're doing with that time must happen. And I think there are certain people who have done it, Andrew Yang, who is a friend, but I disagree with a lot, who he created the Four Party and then turned around and endorsed Kamala, right?
I don't even know what he was thinking for that.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, people just be doing some dumb, retarded stuff. But, we just have to do better. We got to bring these voices in and see how we can all get on the same pathway to move forward. And I think that's what's important.
So real quick, I just want to read this statement read by one of my viewers. First of all, Darren, the Democrats want diversity in faces, but not in ideas. This is the opposite of what Martin Luther King wanted. Right. Agreed. And also, this is a question for you from one of my most diehard supporters and somebody who's been speaking a lot of truth to power. Roger Meadows, Green, you don't need to be in office to push for Chicago and Illinois for public banks and push citizen ballot initiatives. I must press you on this, though, brother. When you coming on my little sister Sabby Sab's show, she reached out to you, to which I have to say Sabby Sabs has been an outstanding content creator as well as independent commentator. I would recommend it because I think she has done a phenomenal job. So I guess
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that request. But if she has requested, have her email the email that's in my bio or message me on one of the social media sites, but I haven't heard of Sabby Sab or seen that request, but definitely will once we see it, we hear that it's highly recommended by kids, so it's good.
I recommend it. I will go to bat for Sabby Sabs because she went to bat for me when we been hit by the YouTube censorship, and she is one of the dauntless few. So I recommend it. I do.
For sure. I do. And then, secondly to the other question, no, you don't have to be in office to do that, which is why I do the work each and every day. Right. And I think, I can only do so much, obviously, helping thousands of people and financial literacy and home ownership and business, creating businesses and mentoring and investing in business. I can only do so much. I'm doing a lot. I am. But I think that there are, we just need more people like me and not in, I don't have to be in the fields that I'm in, but like just doing something, right? And I always talk to people about this. What can you do in your community, and not would be waiting on a politician to do. And so as long as we are connecting with each other, doing what we're supposed to do, when we get to political times, we can go to those people who are doing something and galvanize those people together because they'll have the basis that we need to win elections. So go out there and do what you got to do for the communities and create the basis needed.
All right. That's a fantastic note to end it on. Real quick, is there any kind of programs or events that you want to promote so that way in case viewers want to help out or if they live in the Chicagoland area, where can they go to make sure that, they can help do an impact? Because you're one of the few people here in Chicago that's actually been speaking truth to power, that's been very well aware of just how corrupt this system is. And unlike our city council and our so fantastic mayor, you and there's only maybe a handful of other people that are actually doing real community outreach and trying to uplift people. So where can people go? And is there any events that are happening?
People can go anywhere on my social media to see everything that's happening. We're doing a lot. We actually are doing. We rescheduled an event for this week for September 30th now because it had gotten bigger. So we're doing a huge expo at Malcolm X College on September 30th, where we'll be giving away free groceries. We'll be and top of the line stuff. It's a market. So we were going to do a food market there at Malcolm X, where people can come and load up on groceries for a couple of weeks. And then it's a housing expo with all of the resources needed, from credit repair to tax clinic, and to make sure that you can get on a pathway to buying property. So a lot of resources. So it got bigger, so we had to move it. September 30th, we'll be at Malcolm X College at 6:00, doing this huge expo to help the people. Hundreds and hundreds of people have already gotten tickets. So, doing what we can, Kit.
And also Generational Green here, real quick. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, Generational Green is who's the head of that expo. That is our way to help folks create wealth through real estate. And so not only can you purchase property, it's a one-stop shop for purchasing property, no matter where you are, no matter what your credit is, no matter what situation you're in. We help you get to where you need to be so that you can purchase property and take you all the way to the closing table. And then we also have an investment club as well, where you can invest in and learn about investing and get the education and resources needed so that you could play a part in developing your own communities too.
Agreed. And again, my audience is saying thank you for stopping by. And also Roger Meadows also said,
everybody.
Citizen ballot initiatives for public banks would take care of all of that, though. All right. You know what? I think you need to, if you do get a chance, speak to Roger Meadows. He's a treasure trove of information about citizen ballot initiatives and the good that could be done. But again, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
I've had some people push that on me a lot, and who also does a lot of that. Pat Quinn has pushed some of that too to me, but yeah, for sure.
All right, done deal indeed. So again, thank you so much for joining us. I know that there was a little bit of a time difference, but I'm glad that we were at least able to have you on the show. The Democratic convention was over, and I could say this because I'm probably going to talk a little bit more about this on Larry Sharp show later today, but it left much to be desired for, but who knows how this will all play out. But nonetheless, we still must do the work. Jamal Green, everyone, keep on doing the great stuff. And thank you so much for stopping by for the show. Just a few more announcements before we end our main programming, folks. Again, Jamal Green, one of the Dauntless Few.
Radio station just censored the word devil. Clearly, we are on a different level. I guess you wouldn't notice all the rolling boulders crashing past your shoulders when you're taught to shift your focus lower, scream at all the pebbles. Cheering on the bombers because you can't abide the rebels. But I bet you'll wring your bloody hands when all the dust has settled, when the last little limb is pulled from Gaza's twisted metal. Then you can say how you were led astray, and never once in all your days would you have knowingly supported all the genocide for which you clapped and prayed. But they baited you with unconfirmed blurbs about babies until you were filled with rage. Yet someone told you babies had been starving, bombed, and caged for nearly 80 years in Gaza, and you looked the other way. So regret, but make it fashion. Go and pluck that final petal off a hyacinth on Instagram for every kid they kettled. Every son that Israel imprisoned when they're little, that they tortured for a decade, then surprised with their acquittal. And when they got released and saw their parents, and whatever siblings hadn't met the missiles, they stared right through their middle. Their eyes don't seem to focus, and their words are all but dribble, like they're pondering the darkest riddle. That is, how many false flags does it take to make humanity inhuman and uncivil, distorted by the revel? The crooked slant where Israel contorts into America, Biden bathing Bibi in a bloodbath in the bevel. I opened up my feed and I saw children disassembled. Turned some music on and heard the station censor devil. Imagine thinking Doja Cat's a threat to moral fabric in the single largest terror cell that ever felled a temple, that ever sparked a cleansing, that ever burned a market, that ever raped with bayonets or carpet-bombed apartments. that ever turned your water off and left you in the darkness, left you doing surgery on children while they're conscious. You sing the devil's praises every time you sing our anthem. You sing a hymn to him that watched us birth a million phantoms. You'll proudly wave his flag, and yet you will not name the devil? Well, clearly, we are on a different level. I can give you names, shit, I'll give you several. They say the devil wears a different face for every general, like a composite of the char he brought to fields of emerald, and the wail of every childhood we made ephemeral. So who else has left the stain of blood on everything they touch? Who else can starve civilians and they don't so much as blush? Who else has paid for Gaza being flattened into dust? If there's ever been a devil on this earth, then it is us. That's U.S. What an ugly couple letters. Feeding shit and ignorance to those it chose to tether. From the river to the sea, both are slowly growing redder. For the devil that you know just knows you better. It knows every gut reaction it could ever make you feel. It knows fear is that which wakes you up and gets you on your wheel. It knows just the kind of story that will justify its war. And the scripts are wrapped for World War IV. So just imagine my surprise to give the radio a listen and to hear such pious morals out of Zionists and Christians that they'd take the devil's name and try to clip it from existence while they carry out his bloody business. You would wave a fascist flag, and yet you honor not your Iblis? Name you not Apollyon? Hush you now your witness? Bleed the name of Belial till tongue is rolling listless in the man-made mouth of Mammon, as Lamia's whispers listen. When carts are wheeling bodies through the cities that we crushed, and the very air is rotten with decay of all that was, who else would censor devil yet behave as Legion does? If there's ever been a devil on this earth, then it is us. U.S., but not a unity of souls. More a mass of corporations turning houses into holes, turning people into puppets, turning puppets into mold, turning mold into nutrition bars worth their weight in gold because they're bombing every bakery and burning every field with phosphorus that never once has wanted for a meal. The devil wears a mask and it delights in the reveal, in that moment where the face is let to peel. We do not love the underdog. We do not cheer the rebels. We lust for all their blood until the dust has finally settled. Then pity just ourselves that we were so misled to revel. Proudly wave his flag, and yet we will not name the devil.